My name is Amano. I'm working for the Yokohama Museum of Art as a curator-in-chief. And at the same time, I'm now in charge of Triennial, Yokohama Triennial, especially Triennial 2014, as a head of a curatorial team. I'm now preparing, the museum exhibition and also Triennial project as well. Especially the Triennial, my museum became one of the venue since last edition. So we did the fourth edition in 1911. So at the time, my museum is one of the main venue, and the next project will be held in 1914. Also, my museum is a huge, the deal to operate this project as well. And as I couldn't understand the situation of Daegu art factory, so and I pick up my topic about the new role of art museum in the society or in contemporary world. But on the other hand, when I arrived here, so yesterday, I could understand a little about this institution. So this institution is the Artist in Residence, right? So before talking my topic, so I'd like to show you the Yokohama's case, because as I mentioned, I was working for the museum. But on the other hand, since 2008, so we have a sort of Artist in Residence program near my museum, so which is located in a downtown area. That area used to be a very much risky and a dangerous area because, there are many, Japanese yakuza office and drug trading and prostitute. But at that time, 2008, community people and the city hall and the police, department, they tried to make the area to clean in some sense. And after that, so we organized a sort of a platform. The name is the Koganecho. The Koganecho is the name of the place, the Koganecho Area Management Center. A sort of this, institution, same of the institution. So since that time, so we have been inviting many artists from Asia, from Europe, to stay in the area. So one of the topics to organize that program is that, as you might know, the Japan, so we are now having a very serious aging society. For example, now we have 1.3 million population, but 25% of this population is over 60 years old people. The next, 10 years later, might be a 30 or 40% of such aged people, and also a few population of kids, children as well. So this is true that the many the local communities having this kind of situation. Then they would like to invite the young people as artists or architect, graphic artists as well, to stay or to live in their community, to become one of the member of a community. That's a very much popular, situation right now. I think that for young, the artists, that system is a sort of a safety net, because they can borrow their studio or accommodation space in a very low price. So because the governmental organization, they support the financial support to continue their artistic activity in that area. On the other hand, for the community people, they are the young people are very welcome to become the member of a community. They deconstruct, the new community organization, I believe. So anyhow, as a museum, so my position is I have been making a sort of bridge between the kind of a community-based program and the museum. So one example that when we organize some artist solo show, and when we ask he or her to make a new artworks for that show, that community-based, the program, they how can I say that the artist can stay there, stay in the the community-based program, and then to make a new artworks for the exhibition at my museum. That kind of a relationship, and also the people in the community people, they support the artist to have his solo show at my museum, and then he also become the audience to appreciate the artists who stay in their community. That's true that when we open that show, the community people, they are proud of that, the artist. So because, they are one of the supporter to realize this kind of a sort of exhibition at the museum. So anyhow, it's a step by step. So we are now here making a new program between a museum and a community. So in the museum itself, it used to be, used to organize an exhibition as a self-contained, not, the relationship with the, society and the community before. But now, we should organize a kind of a program, more and more. That's my, I think that the new mission for art museum in Japan right now. And then my topic is the, so it's a very small topic because, I would like to talk about the criteria of fine art or contemporary art today. And so first of all, please, the next page. This is, as you might know, with Japanese in Japan, there's a quite, the popular trend of media art, and the media gauges means the art, especially the big promotion by a government. So we Japanese, would like to promote this kind of a media, something to the foreign country as a new, new source of, governmental culture. So we said it, the cool Japan. And one of the topics is media, especially manga, or TV game, or something like that. This is quite, trendy, the movement in Japan, and also maybe in Europe and Asia and the United States as well. Just, to see this text. Please, next page, please. And but this is true that the, this kind of a promotion by government. But on the other hand, art museum is so quiet to do the reaction for this kind of new media art, manga and animation. So for example, we never organized the manga exhibition, animation exhibition. So because we still have a very much, stable criteria according to very much modern aesthetics. So maybe this is not only in Japan, but also in Europe and the United States, there's very much strong, attitude to keep the kind of, conservative criteria to judge, the value of art. So, but on the other hand, we cannot neglect this kind of, movement as a museum curator. So this is, but we have a still gap between, this kind of popular culture and the fine art as a museum context. So because, this is a quite different criteria between a fine art and this kind of a new media art itself. So because, we have, the valuation in the system of art since the 19th century. I mean, at that time, so we have a new system of a market and the criticism, a critic and the market. So always making a new value of art. But before that, the time of academism, in academism, making a new, trend of fine art. But since, the 19th century, I believe that the, turning point of valuation of art itself, we're still staying in the same, and the situation, the 19th century. So, but this kind of new media art or new media something expressed is the the out of this kind of context, not the different discourse of evaluating the how can I say in the market. So we don't have the critic like who can criticize the manga or some other trend expression in the art world, not in the art world. Okay, next. So suddenly, so I show you this, the picture. And this is very much famous picture by Kappa, Robert Kappa. So because we are now having a temporary exhibition, special exhibitions of Robert Kappa and Geruda Taro. They used to be the good partner each other. So anyhow, so because that this year, very much anniversary year of Robert Kappa, because 100 years anniversary since the birth. So that's a quite, now it's a very much quite popular exhibition because we can have approximately 1,000 audience a day. It's quite, popular. But on the other hand, before organizing this exhibition, I'm wondering that the Kappa's, the pictures is news photographs, documentary photography. But as you know, the documentary or news photograph is not art. Quite different, the context. So because, any prints, the Kappa and the other, the journalistic photographer, at that time, I'm in 1920, 30, 40, so before World War II, they have to send the print to the media, the newspaper or magazine company. Of course, not to art market, not to the museum. So, but 100 years later, the art museum right now organize this kind of exhibition. But still, for example, I had the reaction from our audience. That's a very nice exhibition, Mr. Amano. But is this art? So please explain, the document or news, the photography. When does that kind of a picture, the photograph, become the art? I can't explain, smoothly this kind of question. But still, we have this kind of a gap because photography is art, of course, and my museum, as a permanent collection, we are collecting a very beautiful photography, but only in the context of art, like Jeff Wall and Cindy Sherman, no news, photographs. But the Kappa's, the pictures belong to our permanent collection. Just before the opening of my museum, my museum opened in 1989. But we have this, the pictures, 183 photos as a gift, as an acquisition. But anyhow, at that time, the curator and the museum did not, think about, this kind of an issue. So it's okay, they're nice, the picture. But now we should say that how can art museum present this kind of, the new, not new, I mean, different type of a media as the news pictures as art. This is still, this kind of a gap between the photography and the fine art, and between the new media and the fine art. Next, please. And for example, I'll show you the light one is that's a very famous, the painting by Edward Manet. This painting made is the made in 18 1973. There's a quite famous painting is Manet. The title is The Railway, or Saint-Lazare, Gare de Saint-Lazare, the Saint-Lazare station. The first appearance of painting at that time, the people were so upset, so because even for us, it's harder to understand this painting. This is very easy in some sense, the two ladies here and one girl, see the opposite side, and there in a small fog might be a steam train. The steam, the trains, the white smoke. So people can imagine the train over there. But what is this? Is this one of the historical, something, or what happened in this painting? Nothing there. And then the Manet asked the two ladies to make this kind of a pose. This is not, the snapshot by in a picture, So a very set up, the paintings. But as I mentioned, the 19th century, the turning point of a fine art, because especially the painting, because in most in the paintings, the theme is history or mythology or religious something. But after that, in the 19th century, so the Manet, he would like to express, the real life as a theme of a new theme of paintings. So, on the other hand, the next one is that's also the very famous, pictures of a Kappa. It's a Normandy, the scene is a Normandy. But I would like to say, that you used to have a common memory of some specific, the image made by painter before, 19th century. So Japan as well. But since 19th century, so we have a sort of a common image by photography. But in this time, the photographer, they never make something. They discovered something, and they show us, the new discovery. So this is a sort of a gap between, the way of sharing the common images in the history of human beings, I believe. So next one, please. This is another, the photo pictures as a contemporary art or fine art. This is the works of Jeff Wall. The Jeff Wall ways is the same of the Manet's way, because Jeff Wall, for example, especially lighting the pictures, Jeff Wall hired a professional actor and actress to do the same action again and again and again, and the Jeff Wall waiting for the in front of this interaction, and the firstly, actors, actress, the action is like a very theoretical, like a drama. But day by day, he did that continue 1 week or 2 weeks. And then the action has become so naturally. At that time, he decided to take this kind of picture. This is the same way of Manet. He would like to not discover, to make some images by the camera, not by the painting. But the other one is the same. This is a very tragedy, very battlefield, the picture. This is, in some sense, very much non-fiction. It looks at non-fiction, but very much fictional, the way to make this kind of a picture. So I know, if we know the way how to make the painting by that painting by Manet, that's a fake, It's very much set up and theoretical something, not real, and not true. But this is also, after knowing the way to make this kind of a picture by Jeff Wall, we said that, this is fake. This is not true. But on the other hand, so where is the truth in this moment? where is the, the justice, where is the truth, where is the fact, something like that. So next one, please. So right now, is the Kappa took the very, absolute moment to take a picture, the moment like a war or some other moment of the men who are dying. But now is a one direction, is a one point. But now is a people very easy to take a picture like this, the smartphone, the cell phone. There's a many different, the direction to take the one, what happened there. So many directions, there's a many different point of view. So where is the truth? So where is the absolute moment? Where is absolute the fact? But on the other hand, we know each other the different the direction to know what happened. From this side, that's the truth or what the justice. But on the other hand, no, justice, not justice. They're not true, something like that. So anyone can take the big moment and send it to the world at the same time. Not at the same, not the situation of a capacity of that age, not the 60 or even the 50 or 60s. So especially 2000 year, so we have a the new time of a digital time. So for example, at museum, it is very much harder for us to buy the analog print. This is quite expensive. So because the Fujifilm, the company, they gave up the factory line to make a gelatin silver print. So some years later, gelatin silver print disappeared in the market. So of course, only rich, the photographer can buy that kind of a beautiful print. So now there's two ways of photography. So one way is the very beautiful and the high quality and like a craftsmanship, the pictures. On the other hand, the digital print will be easy to make, it will be easy to take that kind of a picture. So, and as a museums, we should know what happened in a society, what happened in art. So, and we need change the criteria in this moment. This is, I think, of course, I will be not able to show the new criteria right now. But I think this is also the turning point of this kind of institutional attitude have to be shifted to another way or another criteria. This is my proposal. Thank you very much.
다음은 정말 대만에서 가장 촉망받는 미디어 아티스트이기도 하고요. 우타코는 현재 관두미술관 수석 큐레이터입니다. 그리고 또 VT 살롱이라는 대안 공간의 공동 창업자이기도 하고 2009년부터 2011년까지는 디렉터직을 담당하기도 했습니다. 그의 작품 현재 대만, 영국, 핀란드, 스페인, 스웨덴, 아이슬란드, 미국, 인도네시아, 중국, 일본, 한국, 마카오 등에서 선보이고 있고요. 대만의 시각예술협회 임원직을 겸하고 있는 그는 대만 현대미술관과 대만 창의경제연합의 창립자이기도 합니다. 대만 관두미술관 수석 큐레이터 우따권을 모시겠습니다.
Hello everyone. My name is Woo Da-kun. I think they have already introduced about me, but I think I'm a curator, artist, and also I'm a teacher as well. So with those mounting identities, sometimes it's the missing who I really am, and I'm confused about it. Yeah. But today we're going to show you something. As recently I'm talking with some of students and friends, and it's about how we are curating of the in the digital art field, in the digital art centuries. So during the time by time, the digital arts can getting more and more important of our phenomena of our life. Yeah. So next page, please. Oh yeah, this one. So now I'm going to say the flash and also the aura. So in the classical way of the aura, as the 100 years ago, what Benjamin is mentioned about the aura is a circle, holy things. But now, nowadays, we can use many devices to reach the digital age with a lot of phone or smartphones with a lot of other things. Okay. So the flash of the technology has presented our lives. It changed our way of thinking, our experiencing of thinking, and focus us to response of exporting information more and more quickly. We see how people check into a place all the time with their smartphone, upload or downloading all the social media by invisible consenters, and communicate with people even though they are using with the smartphone, even though we are in the same roofs. So it's kind of very interesting things we are doing right now. So those phones' introduction not only drew the attention of the internet platform provided, but also inspired many artists and curators to think about how to reflect the alternative flash of this institution and technology age. So let me allow to introduce one artist group in Taiwan. Their name is called Logically Logical. They are doing something that's kind of interesting with the between a gap between the aura and digitalizing age. So can you back to the last page? Yes. So this is a very interesting project they are doing. They invite a lot of audience, then get their lighting things of the light, and from their family, like abandoned usage lighting. So and after that, they set up with the structure, then put on of the lights, and with and of that they can use the programming to synchronize all the signals. Next page, please. So this is a new version of their art project. Yeah, in Jeju Hill, and it just showing in like 2 weeks ago. So with that, and also back to the other page. Yes, and with this page, we can see many abandoned street lights. Yeah, lots of street lights actually they are used to be using before in different parts in the city. Yeah. But now they are getting from the a lot of place in Taipei City. So and put down together to make like a huge moon. So the lighting can be shifted, yeah, with the moon's like shadows and other, and I also cooperate with a lot of performance things. Next page, please. So this is one of the projects they are showing in our museum last year. The title is Go Swimming. Yeah. And they use the 8 different like mountain lights and controlling by a lot the wire. So, and also programming things. They can cooperate with the sort of like a dancing performance feel, then manipulate the wave like people they are swimming in these installations. Next page, please. So now I like to talk about the social network. So nowadays, I believe people, we are all doing the interpretation, forward about the international, about the Web 2.0. Then earlier last century, we have many artists and devoted transcend to experience that combination of the technology and art. So when we are using this, the power of the shifts of technology and phenomena of the heart of software only attract even more young artists, we are getting influenced with this exciting area. So those are happen in the time when the power of the instruction and getting shifted from the other, from the creators to expose to the audience, and the work of the art become interactive and competitive. In such state of the art world, the audience become the audience and the work of the art so becomes a subject of the artwork. The curators and the artists, on the other hand, having yet to lose their voice during these power transitions and become some kind of natural interface between the work and the audience. So maybe we can speak like this. Curator can be the producer, and artist and audience complete the works or games together. The online game, the online games like this, I believe people, they are, especially young generation, we are kind of fascinated by this part quite a lot. Yeah. So if you are familiar with these game instructions, then you will be noticed that how the opinions from the game communities can influence the design of the games. Even when they are against the creator's will. So in other words, you can also say now the game with the world, they have their own concentrates. Meanwhile, the international internet instruction, like the online virtual world and the social media, have also attracted the different descents in their production culture. So in this part, I would like to express more. So because we have the big public audience, now it can approach through the different like computers or TV games or online games, and from all the sense. So when the designers, they can catch the feedback, because the online games, player, they always give a lot of advice, and they become a communities of the production companies. So in this fields, then it also can make the game have their own thoughts. Okay, next page, please. Then I would like to explain a little bit about the crowd. Yeah. So the new experience of time and space, we have this technology called the crowd. So we are using this. Like we can see a lot of different devices, then all getting to the cloud. The cloud is, of course, a sign of the digital economy. But have you ever thought about how that might can change the way of we present art? Presenting an object to your eyes without the effort of going through the one place to any other different is the most economic way of the presenting. And that is one example of how we can apply the technology of the crowd to caring. So, let's back to, so we can check in the things all the time, then tagging our friends on the Facebook all the time. So that's also very interesting spot. Then next page, please. So in this field, we can see the small joke. The bat cave on the Facebook. Then you can see the Batman, then get into a Robin, say, this locator of the bat cave is meaning to be secret. So please stop to take in. For checking of it. So that's kind of, and this is the other sample I'm taking myself. In the Samsung Liu Museum during the Anish Kapoor's exhibition. Okay, next page. Can you move to 4? So checking in a place and taking friends have become the important way of socializing. Such mark of the introduction creates a fusion and the bounding free of the space to share kind of cultural advice and so with the crowd as a platform of the institution and production artwork. Maybe someday we can have a crazy scientist or artist. They can simulate the virtual reality world online, virtually, but not yet. Like a Hollywood SF movie. We can upload our concentrate and also our mind, maybe even our body, to the different universe. So I think it's little bit sounds like a creepy. And next page. So, so we all know, the happenings, the upcoming things. We all know that today, we all know that today and tomorrow is the future of the today, and today is the history of tomorrow. It's quite common sense. But when we saw the visual information, on the multimedia device, also with you, what you see and expressing are present products. Then the content itself may be actually an explanation of the past or of the future. The freedom of being able to manipulate time and space freely is what many artists like this to think available about the new media art. Any other possibility for the future to applying technology to art is to drape the cultural context with that look of the popular entertainment For example, the very successful future singer, Hazumi, yeah, me too. How to spell that exactly? I think she is kind of very important symbol of this idea. So I don't know if anyone, we know how they are running the business like this, and how can we get into experimentation for our next generation, because this will be the things we are going to experimentation at. Next page, please. Yeah, and at 2009, there was also a first live concert, using the iPhone as an instrument in music in German. And now we have a special app, even though we have a special app and carved for this such a place. They are all very interesting phenomena for the technology things. Yeah, and very possibility will be the main media to approach the learning and experience of culture of our next generations. Next page, please. So now I'm like to sharing about the vision of the future curating. So let's take a look of the role curator in Asia. I think in 20 years ago, around the 90s, the idea of the curatorship was introduction to Asia and of course in Taiwan and other countries. But in Asia, we start to, in 2000, we starting to have a more complex curatorial system. And we also start to think curator as a two circles, important or dominating role in curating. I'm more catered to what we call the idea of weekly curating in Taiwan. Yeah, because nowadays I think the curator is kind of too holy, and we give the curators actually too much power. In some sense, I will explain this later. So I was thinking we should witness the dominance of the curator in, of course, in some projects, and return to the basic. And through this, which is through the starting the artwork, and put the focus back to the artists and their works. That's about the abilities to create in art and integrate it. The exhibition can be divided only when both artist and curator are equipped with those abilities. After that, we can bring the curator's ability of the creative curating and its inspirance of the environment. The curator's curating activities is the curating has to follow what I just said about the servants integrated. But what I'm seeing more and more today, that curator become the leading role in the art exhibition. And to me, this means it's kind of potential criticized in the curating. The curator should be work with the artist and together to make the exhibition a good, a meaningful show. A good art exhibition should let people to remember who shows and the artist's work, and it needs teamwork to accomplish it. So the making of part. Yeah, it's really, it's my opinion is that the most interesting for me to curating the art. So, this picture is like during the 2 years ago, I was curating an exhibition in Kaohsiung Museum in Taiwan. Then the title is called Republic of Art. Then it's kind of interesting way because it's maybe some friends you noticed last year. No, 2 years ago, it's in 2011. It's the 100 years anniversary of Taiwan, the nationalism. Yeah. So in Taiwan, we have a lot of people, like artists, we discussing about the idea together and sharing the information, then getting all of projects and to create this exhibition. Then also we put on the many news in the Facebook and to attract the audience to get in to participate the fake. We created a really fake country of this and using the museum exhibition as a lens, of the land of this nation. So, can you go back to forward? Yeah. So So with this, it's getting like really interesting and successful project when we are doing of this. So after all of it, let's back to nowadays. Then we can have a lot of smart devices, like this, and this, and this. So I have to put HTC because it's made in Taiwan in some way. Yeah. So in the future, the information is the currency because the information is getting more and more important when we was attractive of it. So with the 3 devices I just showed to you, and also the things I hold in my hand, we can catch back to the crowd and a lot of information and totally change our life in nowadays and right time. Okay, next page. So nowadays our life is getting really, really fast because of this, like smartphones, a system. But on the other hand, I will also proposing like something like we should live in like more slow down. Then let us can really to think about ourselves and our life. So I would show you, this is the one Taiwanese artist, Yuan Guangming, his artwork. And the title is called Experience Project. Then with this page, he's taking, filming his wife as a artwork. Then with the special black lights, then when the projection turn off, the lights comes back in the dark. So it's kind of tracing back to the aura as mentioned by Walter Benjamin. Okay, next page. So that's the, I'm going to say the picture of the future. Yeah. So at the end, the picture of future. So how we are getting to roll the idea, and what I can say for sure in our culture industry is that the production of culture in the future will be the combination of the technology, art, and entertainment. We are facing in the new production of art and the updating thinking of aesthetic. So my question is, are we really ready to embrace the new digital times? So at last, let me introduce one of the video clip of the Transjury Future Media Festival. The project was planned by us, the Guangdong Museum of Fine Arts, and the Center of the Art Technology from the National Taipei University of Arts. I hope after watching of this video, and you can get a better idea about what I just said. Yeah. Thank you very much. I think please double click this show, the clips. I have the other individual file.
关东美术馆做个大学美术馆，在台湾来讲是第一个大学美术馆。我们也是第一次进入大规模的全馆来做一个科技艺术展览。这个展览是比较特别，因为我们不只是一个科技艺术展，我们是一个用历史的脉络做一个在台湾科技艺术的一个整合嘛，使大家了解到台湾这个科技艺术的一个发展。我们有几件作品呢，是我们现地制作的，作品跟空间的关系就处理得很好。这个展览对于我们关东美术馆来讲是一个很大的一个挑战啊，人员的挑战也好，义工的挑战，看守会场的挑战也好，我想关东美术馆也好，科技艺术中心也好，全校的这个动员呢，才有完成这个展览。
台湾在发展新媒体艺术的这个领域大概有10多年的时间，不过好像整个过程中一直没有一个很有系统的脉络性的一个介绍，所以我们在思考怎么样把台湾新媒体艺术做一个更有系统的一个整理。超旅程其实主要就是在谈新媒体艺术，它作为一个未来新的媒介的一个可能性。第一次的未来媒体艺术节，我们在规划上面其实是有几个大的方向在进行。国际特别邀请的这个部分呢，我们大概是从一个科技艺术史观的脉络去思考，譬如说录像艺术对于新媒体艺术发展的这个重要性，还有像声音艺术，或者是新的互动艺术，或者是像跟脑波有关的这样的一个方向的东西。这次的展览很主要的一个重点在于台湾新媒体艺术的这个邀请上面哈。那除了有非常个人化的这个艺术家的邀请之外，我们这次也非常着重在以前比较被忽略的不同的研究机构，或者是在大学里面的实验室，他们也有长期的累积很多好的作品的邀请。另外有一个很特别的独立的部分是台北艺术大学艺术与科技中心的专属的展区。那这个展区呢，它主要是介绍艺术与科技中心成立以来研究的成果。新媒体艺术它不只是一个单一艺术家的个人表现，而是整合的不同艺术媒介的一个创作，跟不同的表演艺术家、科技媒体艺术家去做一个整合性的一个跨领域的表现。所以我们这次也特别策划了一个跨领域科技表演精选这样的一个主题。 这次我们特别邀请到了一位加拿大非常知名的音像的艺术家 Herman Colgan， 他来为我们做一个现场的 live 的演出。那他的演出其实是结合了他制作的声音跟很惊人的一个影像的画面。那他特别就是整合了北艺大师生打击乐团在现场做的演出。2012未来媒体艺术节，其实它一方面对过去10多年来台湾在发展未来媒体或者新媒体艺术的这样的一个整理之外，其实它也企图去对于台湾在发展所谓的科技艺术领域未来的走向给一个新的一个关照。我们自己要去找出一个对于新艺术领域的一种定位跟发展的一个方向，去做一个探讨。
요코하마 미술관이 그렇게 했던 프로젝트가 우범 지역을 매춘도 있고 우범 지역을 갖다 그렇게 갱생했다는 이야기를 들으면서 사실은 이분을 잘 모셨구나, 많은 걸 여쭤봐야겠다는 생각했어요. 왜냐하면은 저희 대구예술 발전소 주변도 사실은 젊은이들이 사람들이 많이 올 수 없는, 또 사실은 또 이렇게 사창가들이 숨어 있는 걸로 알고 있습니다. 그래서 그런 쪽에서 많은 공통점이 있다고 생각이 들고요. 두 분 다 좀 달라지는 그런 현실을 인지하는 데 있어가지고선 그것을 바꾸는, 그래서 이제 그것이 기술로 인해 가지고선 이제 컬렉티브 오서십에 대한 이야기를, 그러니까 어떤 집단적인 저자 개념이겠죠. 그래서 그 집단적인 저자 개념 때문에 예술가와 이제 그것을 향유하는 소비자의 간극도 이제 전복이 되기도 하고요. 그래서 그런 공통적인 제언이 있었습니다. 오늘 발표하신 내용은 사실은 짧기 때문에 충분히 깊이 있게 들어가기는 어려워서, 그래서 이 Q&A 시간을 지금 마련을 했고요. 그리고 이제 지금 Q&A 또 플러스 또 이따 오후에는 좀 더 긴 Q&A가 있을 텐데요. 그래서 선생님들 오늘 발표한 내용에다가 이거 이외에도 일본에 대한 거, 미술관에 대한 거, 또 대만에 대한 거, 대만 미술관에 대한 거, 큐레이터에 대한 것들 자유로운 질문 해주시기 바라겠습니다. 저 마이크가 준비되어 있으니까요. 손 드시고요. 그래서 질문 부탁드리겠습니다. 중앙일보에서 오신 문소영 부장님께서 질문하시네요.
네, 아까 강연 잘 들었고요. 그럼 질문을 드리겠습니다. It shows my interest is what is art in the new media era, and what is the border between art and documentary, and border between art and non-art. So it was very interesting about your speech, and so you talked about some documentary photos and some fake documentary photo by an artist, and it is true for photography and art, and it is also true for film and art. So some artists are also making some fake documentary films as an art, but some artists, Kim Suja, the Korean artist who will represent the Korean pavilion in the Venice Biennale this year, and she made some series of some documentary-like art titled Thread Roots. It is just like a documentary. It is a film, short film, and it is like a documentary, some kind of some cultural and anthropological documentary. So I was very curious, what is is it an art or documentary? Though it had very beautiful images, but still it was just like documentary. So I thought about that, and so it is just my conclusion that in that case, first I thought if an artist make a film, then it is art, and some film director make makes it, then it is a film. It was my first conclusion, but I thought again, and some artists, some Apichapong Wirasetakun, the Thai artist, or some other artist, they are both film director and artist, and sometimes they go to film festivals, and sometimes they go to art biennale. So it is more confusing. So then I thought, then then it is art when it is displayed in art museum by the curator, and then it becomes film when it is filmed in the screen. So yeah, it is. So it is the thing about what context it is located, and I think it is the curator who decides it. So what do you think about that?
I think this question directed to Taro Amano-san.
Okay, so we use, for example, curator, So, but we use this term is a curator. It means that the who works at the museum. But right now, we use the curator as a term as many different aspects. So, and on the other hand, even the artist, right? So this is artist, the name is the especially for us and museum curator. So artist means that the artists who make the artworks for art market and art museum, right? But nowadays, even the pop, the singer, we say that the artist, right? The artist is so many, the presence, So in that meaning that the, not only, how can I say, of course, in the meaning of an art itself is so spreading. So the having many different meanings and many different, the presence. So, but even still, for example, so when I attend the opening of photographers, the opening of the exhibition at some commercial gallery. On the other hand, when I attend the, the fine art artists and the opening at the commercial gallery, the quite different type of the people there. Still, there no, no bridge or no communication with each other. So I think, but yeah, that is true. Many different type of a market according to the term of art. Even the photography is art, of course, but we still have a different, the market in the context of, art world. I have no idea how to make, the good solution to make a good recognition of this kind of situation. But I think where is the criteria to judge, the good art or not good art? So this good or how can I say? Is a judgment of art itself is quite difficult for us. This is true. So as I mentioned, I can't show the final the good solution today, but we think about the kind of this situation at first, and then we should make up the different type of criteria to make access to the different type of art in the different market as well. This is my the tentative idea. We should explore the many type of art at the same time. But still, art museum is very much the art museum itself as an institution is very much conservative attitude, because we should, one of the mission of art museum as an institution to keep the artworks is very safety. This is true. So art museum have to have a collection, permanent collection. So we have to preserve the artworks forever. That's true. And also, so we still have a criteria of a very much modern discourse. So modern discourse in which that, for example, who make these artworks? You or, I mean, I know, and also how to make the artwork. So we prefer, handmade, something. So digital artworks, so of course, so the artists use the device of a computer or some other, the technology. So, but according to, modern aesthetics, so we would like to keep a distance between, handmade, beautiful artwork and, the technique, made, something, the new one. So, it's very much, the border between the kind of, the different type of art. So I have no idea how to make what kind of the bridge between the technology, the digital art, and the very old-fashioned, fine art. But it is true that people wanted to know and wanted to build any kind of artwork in the museum. But we never, as I mentioned, we never organized a digital art, exhibition or animation or, popular cultures, the exhibition before. So I'm not sure, what kind of the produce, this issue for future. But that's true. We did thinking about the criteria of art itself. That is my opinion. Not solution, sorry.
또 질문이 있으신가요? I have a question. As a little bit of comment, continuing from your question, Ms. Moon. You mentioned that the photography is the right way to capture the slice of reality, and you define reality as a truth. I think the truth has two parts. The number one is the data, number two is the fact. Data is the origin of data is in Latin language is the given, something given from God or from nature. Fact is something artificial, something made by the human civilization. So throughout the art history, the artists will communicate from data, then slowly moving toward the fact. So I think it's not the nature and artificial and the reality and the alternative reality. It's not a matter of the quality. It's a matter of quantity. It's more like the people exposed to the digital the environment. It's a quantity, right? The number of the people. That's why we have the collective power. So the photography, after invention of photography, the photography is the symbol of technology in the visual culture. The technology involves the plenitude, machine engineering and programming and image and montage and collage. But irony is, we invest many things to realize, make it the contemporary art using photographic image and make it solid. But the funny thing happens, the longevity of that photographic genres, it's really dying really fast. Just like you mentioned the gelatin silver print, that's also the symbol of part of technology. Now it's Fujifilm, they stopped producing the gelatin silver print. The funny question, the Hiroshi Sugimoto, he used gelatin silver print, but in the market value and also museum value. Do you think after losing his essence is gelatin silver print, I believe, he's losing his material. Then what will be your criteria to determine his future value without gelatin silver print? That was his identity.
Yeah, I believe that such a rich artist as Mr. Sugimoto can produce, gelatin silver plate by himself.
Oh, by himself.
Yeah, of course, yes. Of course, yes. Roughly speaking, the history of a human being is a history of de-evolution. De-evolution. For example, we can do the cut and paste in a computer, right? It's a click. It's very easy. But at the cut and paste, in past, we used to use, the scissors to cut the paper and the paste with the, the glue, something like that. So very much physical experience, step by step, and the cut and paste. But right now, we lost that kind of a physical experience. The technology can do anything. So for example, the camera now is a digital camera, do anything, right? So we do just, they push the button. So we are losing, many, how can I say, when I see, the integrated physical experience. So finally, I'm not sure, I have no idea what kind of human beings appeared in the future. This is so serious. And also, the picture and camera itself, as an analog camera, even the professional, the photographer like it's okay, the Kappa or some other famous, photographer, they could not, recognize any information in the print, so before developing, right? So that's why, the photography was a sort of unconscious, the media, very unconsciously. That's why the surrealists took their interest on the picture itself. But right now is, the digital camera, we can recognize, in the monitor, what I take, what kind of the, landscape, what kind of information I will take, now. So this process is completely different, between the analog and the digital. But I'm not, the specialist on this, issue, but quite different, way, might be make some difference, That's, the serious issue, I think, in the context of, especially the photography itself.
Yeah, I think the Hiroshi Sugimoto is invincible. Any other 질문도 없으신가요? 예.
기자님 말씀 동감이에요. 저도 혼선스럽거든요. 이것이 미술 속에 속해야 되느냐, 영상 속에 속해야 되느냐, 아니면은 또 사진으로 속해야 되느냐. 제가 이제 사진 비엔날레도 봤고 또 이렇게 그 미술도 이제 봤는데 저희들은 설치 미술하고 많이 합니다. 제가 시립무용단 초대 안무자로서 80년대부터 이 작업을 하고 있거든요. 그래서 이번도 이제 하고 있는데 이 과목을 어떤 과목으로 넣느냐가 제가 궁금한 거예요. 미술 속에서 영상으로 되어 있는 파트를 이것을 미술관에서 해야 되는 것인가 아니면은 영상 미술로 해야 되는 것인가 기술을 도입하더라도 이 장르가 어떤 표현으로 해야 될 것인가 제가 혼선스러워서 감히 물어봅니다.
그건 제가 답변해 드리는 게 맞을 것 같습니다. 사실은 이제 이 자리가 어떤 솔루션을 제공한다기보다는요, 지금 같은 그런 질문들을 많이 이제 취합을 해야 되는 것 같습니다. 지금 주신 질문 같은 것들이 이제 많이 나와야 되는데요. 사실 이제 미술이라고 했을 때 우리는 보통 조각이나 페인팅이나 사진 정도로 생각하고 있습니다. 그렇지만 21세기 이후부터 이제 1900 전후 미술부터 세계 2차 대전 이후부터의 미술의 정의라는 것은 이제 선생님께서 하고 계시는 이제 어떤 퍼포먼스라든가 해프닝, 그리고 또 심지어 이런 렉처까지도 미술의 영역이 되고요. 영화까지도 미술의 영역이 됩니다. 우리가 이제 그걸 또 사진이라는 개념보다는 무빙 픽처라는 개념으로다가 요즘 많이 활용이 됩니다. 그러니까 사진은 그것이 스틸 이미지일 뿐인 거죠. 예. 그러니까 실제 이런 움직임들은요, 뭐 가장 좋은 샘플은 우리 구겐하임에서 있었던 The Kiss라는 작품이 있습니다. 티노 세갈의 작품이에요. 이 작가가 이제 테이트 모던에서도 유니레버 후원을 받아가지고선 또 전시를 했었는데, 안무가입니다. 근데 이 안무가가, 사실 이제 전시하는 전시 작품이 이전까지는요, 이 작품을 만들어 놓으면 그 작품이 영구하길 바랬습니다. 오래되고 영원하길 바랐던 거죠. 그렇지만 디지털 시대로 오면서 기술이 되면서 아까 이제 서두에도 기술이 접목되면서 작품의 수명이 굉장히 짧아지고 있습니다. 그러면서 심지어 구름을 만든 그런 작가의 작품도 이제 하나의 작품이 되기도 하고요. 티노 세갈 같은 경우에는 안무가로서 뭐 테이트 모던이랑 모마에서도 했고 구겐하임에서도 개인전을 하는데 사람들을 30명에서 50명, 키스 같은 경우는 2명 섭외합니다. 그래서 키스는 정말 키스를 하게끔 해요. 그 전시장에서 아무것도 없어요. 그리고 30명, 50명은 약속된 플레이로서 발을 구르기도 하고 고함을 지르기도 하고 노래를 부르기도 합니다. 그러한 경험들 있잖아요. 그러니까 시각예술이라고 생각했는데 시각예술에 사실은 그것이 이제 어떤 소리, 또 움직임 이런 것들까지도, 그리고 재밌는 거는 이제 티노 세갈 같은 샘플에서는 그 작가는 사진 작품도 전시를 하지 않아요. 그냥 그때 와서 보지 않으면은 볼 수가 없는 걸로 합니다. 근데 참 재미있게도 티노 세갈이 그냥 연출가로서 연극 무대에서 했을 때 관객들이 느끼는 그 인터액션과 뮤지엄 공간에서 제한된 그런 뮤지엄 공간에서 했을 때 관객들이 느끼는 건 좀 다르게 느끼거든요. 관객들도 티노 세갈이 만들어 놓은 그런 연출된 상황 속에 같이 들어가게 합니다. 관객들도 역시 상상자가 되는 거죠. 그런 측면에서 폭넓은 관점에서 저희가 이제 예술이라는 것은, 그리고 이런 논의를 이제 대구 예술 발전소 하는 이유는요, 미술의 역사가 앞으로 미래에는 지금까지의 방향도 그랬고요, 얼마만큼 미술을 정의하는 외연, definition의 바운더리를 갖다가 얼마큼 누가 더 폭넓게 확장할 수 있느냐. 그리고 두 번째는 이제 문화 정책이라는 것들이 이전까지는 콜렉션 중심으로서 정부도 그렇고 기업도 그렇고 그렇게 자본이 투자가 됐습니다. 작가들도 그렇게 노력을 했고요. 콜렉션 하기 때문에 영원해야 되는 거예요, 작품이. 근데 이제 바뀌고 있습니다. 콜렉션의 특징이 경험이에요. 그러니까 미적 대상이 아니고 미적 체험의 대상입니다. 그렇다 보니까 뭐 사라세노라는 작가가 있는데 메트로폴리탄 미술관에서 건축적인 공간을 만듭니다. 조각 작품보다는 사람들이 직접 그 안에 체험할 수 있는 공간이거든요. 이건 왜 그러냐면은 예술의 기능이라는 것이 이제 기술로 오게 되면서 사람들이 소유하는 것이 아니고 사람들이 액세스할 수 있는 그 경험을 소중하게 생각하고요. 그런 쪽으로다가 정부나 기업의 움직임들이 그쪽으로 가고 있습니다. 그런 측면에서 사실 이런 논의들은 그런 외연을 우리가 어떻게 넓힐 것이고, 음악을 하든 시를 짓든 진짜 판소리를 하든 전통 한국 국악을 하든 미술관에서 할 수 있는 역할들이 있을 겁니다. 왜냐하면 앞으로 미술관에서는요 경험을 판매할 거기 때문에 그렇습니다.
I want to hear more about the relationship and the role between artist and curator. You gave the example about the game system, and you said curator can be said as a predator in game system, and then you said artist can be said as prey or victim. And I want to hear more about that, and I want to hear more about what you think is ideal boundary between our artist's role and curator's role, these days,
Yeah. So I think your question is kind of very important, relate to the speech. And for me, I think that because my background is sort of like complicated, because at the beginning I'm an artist, but recently, I turned to curating exhibitions. So as an artist or curator, I know how to deal in or how to talking with the artist. I know how the artist is thinking when they are creating art piece. So I know how to help them. That's the things, we treat the artists as a friends. So we grow up together, or we can have the same, almost the same thought, and trying to make the exhibition as better as we can. So in this sentence, I think the artist, can provide the good idea, but the curator can help on the artist to concentrate the art piece and can make it completed. Then, sorry. Oh yeah. So then for another samples, I think now the boundary between the artist or curator is getting more and more weak. Yeah. And that's why I'm at the speech I mentioned about weakening the curating. Yeah. Especially in Taiwan, or I noticed not only in Taiwan, in especially Japan and other countries in Europe or United States as well. Now the curating things is making like the whole project as a process. Yeah. Then during the process, we can get in more and more different backgrounds people, then cross over and working together. Yeah. And that's how we're thinking we should expand the art field. Not only just in the visual art, not only the hand on the picture in the museum. Yeah. But of course, I'm not too against that's the traditional way of exhibiting. Yeah. But now, because the border of the art is getting less and less, so we can do many things, and now we also have a second thought about how the museum can provide to the audience. Yeah. Well, for example, now we have more and more museums not doing traditional exhibitions. They are invite the maybe designer or architect, yeah. And even the stage designer in the theater field, yeah. Or the multimedia artist. Then we can create the boundary of the art can be like expanded. Okay.
So you think that these days the boundary between curator and artist is kind of breaking down, so that you think that curator can be said as an artist also? Is getting there? Do you think that?
Because actually, curator, the word is influenced by Western systems. Yeah. Since maybe early 70s or 60s, the curator is word has been exists. But move on to the Asia, then the system is, because actually I think when we are Asian countries, then I have a kind of a strong thought, we can build our system and not to follow the Western country style. So in this hands, I think of the curating thing. But of course, I know that many like school or university, they have a curatorial programs. Yeah. But on the other hand, I think we should looking back to our culture in Asia, then build up the system here, and not just follow the Western cultures.
Thank you.
I have a question to Utakun. You show me many examples that media art combined with game or entertainment. So I felt media art is more familiar than before, but still it's very hard to understand the art pieces at museum or art galleries. So as an audience, how can I understand media art that changes to diversity ways? So can you give me any tips to understand media art?
I think first of all, how we can get into know the media art. Yeah. First of all, and when you get in the, I think we are surrounded, already surrounded by images, by informations, by emails, by anything in tied to our life already. So I think everything can influence the artist their idea. And artists is very sensitive. They can go to different phenomena to get the or different angle to get their idea. So I think it's also kind of hard for us because we need to have a lot of experience of our life in the different stage or different periods. So maybe some artists, they are focused on maybe political issues, and some artists, they are focused to the new technologies, and some artists, they are focused to some maybe they are against the nuclear power. So in the different field, actually, the new media art, as I thought, it's just a tool. It's not really, it's not everything. So it's like a brush, it's like a charcoal. It's like the way we can use it to represent the artist's thoughts. So actually, I think, for example, like 100 years ago, Duchamp, when he showed the tourists the toilet on the museum, nobody says, that's art. But nowadays, it's already getting to the, because that case is breaking some boundary at that time. And now, we are keeping the artists, they are keeping to break other boundary. So that's why we think the art can be influenced to our life more and more. Then also art, and in my thought, the 3 person is a key person that can change the human being's life in the future. The first is the scientist. The second one is philosopher. Then the third one is the artist. Because they are all creating something that the human being, they are trying to lead us to move on. Then, as I saw, actually, the curator is also kind of artist. They are also, broke some boundary, the border between the not only a reality and then get into the fusionized as well. Thank you.
제가 이제 약간 좀 클로징 멘트를 좀 하면은 질문에 이어가지고선 그런 것 같습니다. 그러니까 디지털하고 이렇게 기술이 어떻게 예술 작품이 될 수 있어요라는 질문이 아마 공통된 것 같은데요. 사실 이제 그 기술이 들어오면서 서사 방식이, 그 내러티브 구성 방식이 바뀌게 됩니다. 그리고 예술가들은 그 내러티브의 방식을 갖다가 더 창조적이고 더 새롭게 소통하고 그 배급할 수 있는 것들을 연구를 하고 있는데요. 예를 들어 그런 거겠죠. 예전에는 그 디지털 이전에는 예술가들의 역할이라는 것이 역사와 현실을 잘 관찰해서 그것을 어떻게 변형할 거에 대한 거였는데, 언제부턴가 기술이 오면서 쌍방향 소통, 그리고 또 이제 SNS, 그리고 또 어떤 집단적인 그런 그 움직임으로 인해 가지고선, 마치 게임에서도 그렇잖아요. 우리가 게임 캐릭터가 우리가 그것을 게임이 이제 그 기존에 고정되어 있는 그런 루트를 가지고 가는 것이 아니고 새로운 이야기를 집단적으로 만들어가고 있습니다. 그러니까 그 테크놀로지로 인해 가지고선 나올 수 있는 이야기라는 것은 아마 역사 속에는 없을 것 같고요. 아마 새로운 이야기가 될 건데, 그 이야기 전개 방식이 그게 아마 그 기술, 디지털 테크놀로지 이전과 이후를 구별하는 그런 잣대가 될 것 같습니다. 뒤에 점심이 준비됐으니까요. 점심 식사하시고 1시 반에 다시 이 자리에서 뵙도록 하겠습니다. 1시 반부터는 작가 선생님들의 발표가 있을 거고, 그리고 여기 해외 큐레이터 분들의 어떤 크리틱이 있도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.